Hi, I'm here with Alyssa, and we're here to give you another episode of Know Before You Buy the Things We Love and Hate. So, Alyssa, would you please introduce yourself?
Of course. Yes, my name is Alyssa Cheeseman. I work at a company called Pearson Education as an accessibility support associate, and I really enjoy accessibility.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit about your home life? What kind of things should people know to kind of give some context here?
Of course. So I live in Florida, actually, and I have a fiance and as well as a guide dog named Ruth. She's not with us today, but she is a blessing to have.
Excellent. So, when you think about your home, are you in an apartment or are you in a house?
I'm in a house,
You're in a
single
house.
family.
Okay. So you own all your appliances or is it a rental?
Oh, I own everything.
You own it. All right. Good work. Good
Exactly.
work. Well, I mean, we've had a couple of people on the show who do actually have have houses that they're living in, but are rentals. So let's talk about, the things that you have in your home that you use on a daily basis. Can you think of something that really stands out to you that has some like amazing accessibility built into it?
I'd honestly have to say Amazon's Alexa is a really good one.
Excellent. Yeah, that they do some really good work there and say add some really nice features for that. What's your favorite thing to do with your Echo?
A lot of the times I like to, especially because I have Ruth's dog food on pre-order. And so if I hear that it's coming up, I can skip it right through the Alexa without having to pull out my phone. I think that's
Ooh,
a really cool feature.
I like that. That's actually really cool too. All right, so now let's get back to those appliances. I love Echoes too. They give some really good functionality, and previously on this show, we've actually reviewed one of their air quality sensors, which works really nicely. Um, what's something that you have to use, and it doesn't have to be daily, but just something that you have in your home that really, it just doesn't make it, and it's really hard as a blind person to use.
Honestly, I'd have to say my oven slash stove.
Excellent. Yeah, those things can be real pains. Is it an electric or a gas stove?
It's an electric stove.
Okay, so flat top, or can you tell where the burners are?
It's a coil.
It's a coil. Thank God, eh?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Tell me what makes it hard to use your oven slash stove?
Well, because of course, all the settings are in the back,
It,
so I have to use especially with the oven portion, I have to use my magnifier to find the buttons and things like that because it's hard to do button busts because of course with the heat they just melt right off.
yeah,
You know.
yep. It's just not. It's not a good place for the bump dots, and it's greasy back there too sometimes, and so the bump dots come off because the grease and the dirt pulls them off.
Yep.
Is it buttons to do things like set the temperature in the
Yep.
oven?
Yep.
So you have to kind of type in the
Yep.
number, or is it you just hit heat and go plus plus plus?
You have to type in the number.
Thank God. That's at least better because, I've seen ones where every time you hit plus, it goes up 5 degrees and you have to remember where you started. And
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
it's really irritating to use those kinds of stoves. But reaching over to that back and using your magnifying glass, I mean, sometimes you're just like, I can't target that. I bet.
Yeah, it makes it really hard, especially if there's something boiling on the stove
Oh,
and you want to put other things in the oven.
yeah. That's.
That complicates things even more.
We have this boiling pot now, and we have Alyssa reaching forward, and so the magnifying glass. Do you hold it up against the stove, or do you hold it next to your face? Which way does that one work? Is it like a monocular, or is it like a lens?
I actually use my phone.
Oh, so
There's a built-in magnifier on my phone,
that's right. That's right. iPhones have built-in magnifiers.
and actually I have an Android.
You have
So
you're the first person I've interviewed that has an Android, and I have an Android as well. Okay, so you've got your Android phone in your hand,
yep.
and it's not an easy thing to hold in your hand.
No,
Exactly. So, do you use? Does it do distance, or do you have to bring it near where the buttons are?
It can like zoom. It does like a pinch and zoom.
Okay, good. So
Kind
you've
of
got a
thing.
good zoom, and so now your one hand is reaching for the buttons, and I'm doing the gestures just so you know, Alyssa. So one hand is reaching for the gestures, and I'm going to pretend the microphone right now is the phone. So I'm holding it, and there's the five.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly
Okay.
how it is.
So
Yep.
yeah, this can be an awkward thing. I can see how this is a problem.
Yeah.
What other things do you have that, might, irritate a bit?
Well, honestly, that's like the main thing. Um, our dishwasher is okay because I can look at it once because it's a knob,
Okay.
and I can look at it once and it's basically the same setting every time.
Good.
And
Excellent.
so
Yep.
I've got that taken care of.
Leave it and set it is actually a really good accessibility feature, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how about your washer dryer?
Those are actually front loading, so I can actually bend down and actually see the knobs perfectly fine.
So the buttons are there on the front and really nice and accessible. How's the color contrast on it?
Color contrast isn't too bad.
Good, yeah. I've seen some that, I haven't seen them. I can't see a damn thing. No. I've heard some of these things have really poor color contrast. So especially on a washer dryer, they'll have like really pale letters. So that's good to hear yours. You actually can see what's going on there on that control panel. If you had, your druthers, what would you tell manufacturers of household appliances?
So I would basically tell them all the accessibility features that I'd want. For example, high contrast, making sure that people can actually see what they're looking at. Like, for example, even though you have a stainless steel stove, sometimes it's hard to see the black on the stainless steel. So it'd be nice to have like an outline on the knobs that are a little bit higher contrast.
Very right. Yeah, I like that. Definitely putting that outline around there, like we talk about in web accessibility, the focus ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for meeting with me today and being part of my program.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad I can do it, and I'm glad I can help spread accessibility.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Know Before You Buy the Things We Love and Hate. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please be sure to subscribe, click like, and leave me any comments. And join me next time for another episode.